we're not taught to actually own ourselves. We're not taught to like own your talents and like really stand up proud and like sell your services, know that you're awesome. We need that validation from everybody else. We're like, I want someone to come and tell me. I want my coaches to tell me I'm good enough. I want my my husband to praise me. I want my mom to praise me.
Ayesha, welcome to the Muslimah Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm so excited to have you on. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, it's the end of the day for you and me, but it's later on your end. So thank you for, doing this. I know it's not easy being a mom and businesswoman and handling everything, but you're doing it. So it's possible. I have hope.
Oh, thank you so much for those lovely words. It's always inspiring. And I feel like when we are able to like empower other women with the kind of work that we do, I feel that in itself is so rewarding, and it becomes like worthwhile. Like everything, the hustle, the work, and like everything becomes really valuable.
100%. I recorded an episode with Huda this morning, and she said exactly that. We were like, when you live your purpose, your mission, because she was talking about, everybody has a mission to fulfill on this earth. Work is not work. It's just, something that you do, and it fills you up like, like nothing. And just empowering others is so powerful. 100%. I have that feeling for sure too.
Amazing. That's the whole thing. That's why we're all here in this space, like to be able to carry that forward. And this is something that I was having this conversation with one of my coaches as well. And I was like, we don't even realize the kind of ripple effect that we have in each other's life as coaches and as clients as well. Maybe something while helping you with something, something might, happen for me, and that will translate in the way I'm doing things. Right. And it's that's the beauty of this whole industry.
Yep. So welcome to the coaching. So ladies listening, or even men listening. So we hope, that this will add value to your life. We're doing so, this is the outcome for sure that we want doing that. So let's jump into this conversation. And of course, I'm going to introduce you, before the episode, but let people know who you are and what you do. And as I always ask, as a Muslim business owner, what were your struggles and what did you do to overcome them? So we can start there.
That's such a good question. And like always, whenever I'm asked this question, I feel like it's important to speak about how you get to doing what you're doing, because I feel that is so much more interesting. Because when you are, how you get started, it's not like suddenly you'll wake up and be like, this is my passion. This is who I want to be, right? It has to be coming together with all the experiences and all the things that you have been doing. So I have been a copywriter and marketer for almost 3 to 4 years. Back in 2015, after I had my son, that's how it got started. And during all of that time, something which I really, really wanted to do was I want to have an impact. I want to like really empower others. And I started like pitching to magazines and stuff. And I started writing around like self-discipline and all of these other things, psychology and like all of these soft skills related stuff. And then I got myself trained as a soft skills trainer. Then I used to like corporate trainings. I used to write for magazines and all of that. And then like I was interacting with someone, and then she said, why are you holding yourself back? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I'm old enough to be coaching others. I don't think I will have the time. I don't think I have the resources to start up my own business, and like all of these excuses that I would make for myself. And then I had my daughter, and I was like, this is not what I want to be doing. I really want this is something I even tell my clients, and I'm like, ask yourself, are you really embodying who you need to be for your daughter, right? Are you being that version of women that you want your daughter to be? And that's something that has helped me take that action, be like, I really want to be a source of inspiration to more women, to show women that you can stand strong, you can have all of those values and like go ahead with doing this. So when I got started with all of that, so I was doing confidence, I was doing communication and like marketing related stuff. And when it came to sales, I realized that especially as women, sales is like extra difficult for us because we're not taught to actually own ourselves. We're not taught to like own your talents and like really stand up proud and like sell your services, know that you're awesome. We need that validation from everybody else. We're like, I want someone to come and tell me. I want my coaches to tell me I'm good enough. I want my my husband to praise me. I want my mom to praise me, and only then I'll start believing in myself. And then when I realized that one of the biggest reason that women struggle with sales is because that foundation of confidence is not there. So when you're selling yourself, whether that's through like marketing, whether you're doing that through Instagram or Facebook ads, or even when you're creating posts, because I feel like confidence is not something that you only exude on video. I feel that confidence and authority also comes out in the way you write your captions. Are you completely owning your skills? Are you completely owning your talents and abilities? Right? Like when you start doing all of those things, that's when you really start shining out, and you really start to like stand out from your competitors. And it's not necessarily to outdo them, but it's more to like really stand out individually as all of you, and it'll be easier for everybody. That's what I feel. So that's how I got into doing what I'm doing right now. That is like promoting sales leadership, promoting sales confidence through principles of sales psychology.
Mm. And it's really interesting how you arrived there, like the whole process going from, just
Mm.
coaching on the mindset and then going to the sales and more into the business. So what have you learned, teaching sales? As you said, there is something missing is the confidence because, sales is a skill and it requires a certain set of mindset and things to learn, like copywriting and everything. But the most important thing, the most frightening thing is to put yourself out there and just being rejected, right? So I think like the fear of rejection is the number one fear for when you do sales. So what have you
Yeah.
learned, you personally, before diving into your clients, you personally going through that process and selling yourself? What were your main challenges and how did you overcome them? Like, what did it take, for you to overcome them?
Mhm. So I'll tell you, the kind of sales that I was taught right after I got into this industry was very sleazy. I did not appreciate that. I did not want to like push people into saying yes. I didn't want to make people feel like they had to beg, borrow, steal just to buy my program. I hated the idea of cornering people into saying yes. That's not what I was all about. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Like everybody's doing that. Why am I not able to do that? Because I hold integrity so high based on the way I was sold, that I said no, that's not how I'm going to do it. And then I was like, there must be ways where I could empower them. There must be ways where I could use the power of psychology and like match. I feel like one of the biggest ways to eliminate sleaziness out of your sales conversation is by making sure that you're selling the right product to the right person, right? And making that as an opportunity to be able to change their life, and like really working on your own sales blocks and your own mindset issues, so that you're able to sell with that confidence. Because the kind of sales that I teach are, they're not cold calling, they're not like pushing people to say yes and like all of that. It is so soulful that I have so many of my clients tell me, like I go back to them and like ask them, why did you buy from me? Like what made you say yes? And one thing they say that, I didn't feel like a sales conversation. It felt like we were having this energetic exchange. And I felt called to say yes to you. Your everything that you said, everything which you stand for was what I stand for. And this is exactly how I feel you can make sales easy. You can make it easy by making sure that your content is doing the heavy lifting for you. So you can invest in like thousands of dollars in ads, but if your sales message is not speaking to the right people, it's not invoking those emotions, if it's not doing all of those things, then it's not going to click. It's not going to click because each of your posts should be moving them through a buying journey. So it's not essentially about how you sell, it's more essentially about how people buy and how you're going to align your sales process according to that. And I realized the more I stand for what I believe in, like that is, selling with confidence, and the more I make sure that my content is doing the heavy lifting and I'm incorporating and selling soulfully, I feel that's how you make that whole process easy. So one of the biggest challenge for me was the fact that, can I create this market for myself when I see like big industry leaders teaching the other kind of sales? So will there be market for this? Will Muslim women want to buy this way? Because a lot of the way I sell is very different. I don't like, use any tactics or persuasion skills or, pushing people and all of that. I make sure that I show them, because I feel we are all empowered, we're all educated Muslim women. We know what is right and what is wrong for us, right? We don't need to be spoon fed or manipulated into a sale. We are empowered, we know what we need. And if you are, this is where like the right kind of communication skills and right kind of emotional intelligence skills come into play when it comes to sales. Is you need to be able to understand, how do I communicate my message and my offer in a way that makes the person go hell yes? Because right now I see so many of us like just writing captions, like inspiring captions, and we don't even realize the fact that there are so many types of buyers, right? They are analytical buyers, they are spontaneous buyers, and they're buyers who like more, who are more expressive, and different ways speak to different, based on different psychologies, based on different biases. So I spent time with this, and I was like, how do I marry what I am teaching about skills and all of that with this concepts of psychology? And I was like, oh my god, I love what I've created because of how easy it becomes. And especially for like, I was having this conversation with one of my clients, and I was like, how have things changed for you? And she was like, earlier I would have to do so much engagement, I would like force myself to get on like 10 calls a week, and it just got so tiring, and I didn't want to do all of that. And I was like, you don't have to, right? When your content is doing the heavy lifting for you, and you're attracting only women who would love to work with you, you're attracting women based on your own vibe, based on your unique selling point. Because I strongly believe that, I know I'm not for everyone, like we all know that we can't be serving everyone, right? So there will be your own tribe of women who will find you, who will align with what you're saying and what you're doing, your methods and all of that, and they will find you, right? So I don't even like to be for everyone, because I know I have established that, right? So as a Muslim woman, standing tall and proud and saying that this is what I believe in, this is how I'm going to do things. And that did push people off. And like when I got started, I did get called off. Why are you wearing makeup? Why are you using reels? Your reels have music in them. Why are you doing this way? And then I would feel like, do I have to look a certain way to be able to sell? What? Because I didn't think that should be the case. I believe in the kind of brand you build is by being yourself, and then attracting your tribe, rather than creating a fake persona of what you're not, thinking that this is going to work. You know what? I have seen so many people do that, they will create this fake persona of who they are, and that's how they feel like, I need to be like this, I need to look professional, I need to wear this kind of clothes, and like only then I'll be taken seriously. They will burn out. You cannot put an act. How long can you keep on putting that act, right? So that's what I feel.
Uh, I love that you said that, because and that you've seen it, with your own eyes, and you have experienced that. I always thought, about authenticity as being the easiest path, and, not, choosing a persona or building up a whole persona, because as you said, it gets tiring. And it gets you distracted out of your true purpose. And as you said, I think people need to understand, and Muslim women need to understand, because these are our niche, that there is enough for everybody, and everybody is different. So like Muslim women, you will find, like, this is a diversified niche, and you'll have like everything and anything in it. So like, you'll find your tribe, as you said. And I love that you said, yes, the moment I decided to focus on that, well, it made everything easier, because I'm just being myself, and I'm thriving in, like showing my expertise, and I'm thriving being myself and talking with people that, accept me for who I am. And because working with, like, coaching people is a relationship. It is a relationship. It's a connection. So if you connect with an image instead of the person, well, you're not creating the right connection. So I love that you said that, and definitely, you know, there is enough for everybody. And Huda also reminded me of that this morning. Of like, you know, think about abundance. So go back to your faith, and there is always, I mean, subhanallah, and we were giving like examples of like, you know what, even if she was only having one meal a day, you know, she had one meal a day, you know, she was almost on the streets. I mean, same for me. I'm like, when I work, you know, I do my job, even if I feel like, oh, I can be better, I can have more, but you know, subhanallah, I always have enough. And this is a huge, you know, piece of learning lessons that I have, and I'm really thinking about this year. I think this is going to be next year's work, but yeah, it's an aha moment. There is enough, and thank you for reminding us of that, because it is the truth. It is a truth out there. Yeah,
exactly. I love this whole conversation.
Yeah. It's I think it's an important conversation to have, because we're creating a new industry, right? Like, we're almost the first movers into this industry as Muslim coaches, and not coaching like the religion. We're like life coaching, we're like coaching marketing, or like sales. And when we learn from the West, because the main resources come from there, like all my mentors and all of that are like American or Northern American. I have their learning there from their culture, and it's huge, of course, but my faith and my culture add something to that, like helps me modify that. And so we made it, you know, in our own, you know, product. And I think this is going to be powerful. Like, we make it halal, you know, it's like the halal and haram police. I'm like, okay, but it's like, in alignment with our faith, in alignment with our values. And I think this is where the true power comes in. And if you truly believe in that, you'll have barakah, you'll have abundance, you know, in your own way, from, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he's the provider. He's the one that gives you, you know, your risk. So, and this was a huge lesson. I mean, I'm completely, like, I'm French, I'm Algerian, but my culture is French. So I'm like completely westernized. So I'm I'm learning and educating myself into these topics. And I see how they modify everything that I do. And I'm feel much more at peace, you know, and empowered doing the work that I'm doing now, with all of this in hand. So yeah, I'm glad that you have that too, and you're living it, and you're creating, you know, your product with that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. Because I really feel like when it comes to abundance, we get so narrowed, and this is where the scarcity starts coming in, wherein you're like, but then there are like so many people out there. What if I'm not good enough? And what if they just go somewhere else? But this is why I feel the program that I just launched was like a gold, like a gem, because the people who are going through it, they're able to understand that two coaches teaching exactly the same thing, or two businesswomen doing exactly the same thing, can still stand out in their own unique way based on their value system, right? So for me, if one of my biggest value is making sales easy, that's my unique angle. That's how I'm approaching my business with, right? So if for her, maybe that is, you know, scaling with sustainability, or for her, maybe it is scaling despite of having a busy running a busy mom life. So you can, and for people, for those women for whom that is more important, they will probably gravitate towards her and not towards me. So does that mean that I'm not good enough, or does that mean that she's not good enough? It's just that based on their own value system, right? Based on I usually attract women who are like, we have like, I don't want to do pushy sales. I want to like sell in a more soulful manner. I don't want to go behind the salesy tactics and stuff. So that's the kind of tribe that I attract. So based on who you are and like all of those things, we like break it down in the midst of the program. But then that's the angle that I want us to have. And something else which I notice a lot is we are trying to apply the business model that we see others have, right? Rather than creating a business model that would fit your lifestyle, that would fit in with what you want to do based on your. This is something that I recently with one of my one-on-one client, we outlined her whole next year, and we planned like her whole business model, like her 100K business model based on her lifestyle. So she has like small kids, and this is something that I really want people to identify also, is that everyone out there is teaching you a method that worked for them, right? This is a business model that worked for me, so this is what you got to do. This is a strategy that worked for me, this is what you got to do. This is how I scale to 30K, like 50K, this is how you can do. But we are forgetting the fact that all of us who are applying these strategies have our own individual personality types. We have our own like lifestyle, right? If someone who has like small kids, and if one model that worked for a business coach was like launching consistently, that's not reasonable for her. If she has like small kids and stuff, that business model will not fit her lifestyle, right? Or for someone who does not have kids and they have like enough free time in their hand. So I have a client like that who's not married, but she does like interior design stuff and things like that. So I was like, for you, because she has enough time and she's like, I can't spend more time, I do have that energy and stuff. So we outlined her next year with all of these consistent launches back to back, because she can do that. She's in that position where she can play without paying, right? That's what I like to do. And with the other client that I have, she has like small kids and stuff, like she has a lot on her plate already. So we thought of this business model wherein she's creating passive courses, right? And then scaling to like having more people on. So based on that, like you got to see what is it that, like, this is one of the biggest things that I noticed, that we see what's working for others and we try it for ourselves, right? Whether that is like niches and courses and all of that, business models. And like we see the strategy that's working for some like one person. It's like we are sometimes I see this happen a lot. Very new coaches, what they do is they see that, doing like master classes and big extravagant launches and all of that right away in their business, and doing all that emails, they get so overwhelmed with the back end stuff that they end up, and then they're like, I applied everything that this 6-figure strategy tells me to.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're forgetting that that's a 6-figure strategy. The people who are applying it in that manner, they probably have support. They have like VA with them. They have extra resources to be able to outsource, right? So understanding where am I in my business journey, what do I need to do to make sure the needle is moving in the right direction, make sure that the money is coming in, creating a sustainable business model wherein I have money coming in every month. And eventually, of course, you will scale. Of course, you will get to the point where you can apply a 6-figure strategy where you're just like, I'm doing this masterclass, and you have like 150 people sign up, right? This is something that someone else spoke about, and they were like, you know what? I feel like, masterclasses, webinars, they're dying. That's like a dying industry. And I was like, it's not a dying industry. It depends upon how warm your audience is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How
Mm-hmm.
much authority have you built with them?
Yeah.
Do they even see you as an authority? Right? So once you have established that, yes, my ideal clients or my audience currently sees me as an authority, it is only then that your 6-figure strategy will work for you. But based on where you are, you got to understand, this is where I'm at, and this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
Right? And that is like a systematic way of scaling.
This is super important what you just said. Listening to you, I'm thinking about, seeing it from the outside. So people, what you just said, people need to understand where they are at in their life. If you're just starting, it's normal that you're just copying a model, or when you take a course or you're coached by someone, they have a methodology. Of course, you're going to follow that because you have nothing else to compare it with or adapt it. However, you got to keep it open to customization. Like, again, this is about designing, your life. And Morshida, she's also a coach from Malaysia, and she does that life design, designing the whole, business plan in regards to your own personal lifestyle. How does it look like?
Mm-hmm.
Because if a white man in his 40s is teaching you some way that worked for him, well, because it wasn't his
Mm-hmm.
situation, you're a female, you're having
Yeah.
3 children, and they're having like 2, 3, and 5 years old, and it's get crazy
Mm-hmm.
in the house. You only have 2 hours a day to work, if you're lucky, and not exhausted. Well, of course, you're going to customize it. So it's super important that you said, so like, at what stage are you in? And we're just jumping into this like more strategic, and tactical
Yeah.
advices here, from your own experience. Where am I at? Am I just starting? Well, if I start, yeah, I need to start somewhere. So a model, okay, let me try it. Experimentation. Did it work? Did it not work? Well, you're not going to say, give me back my money, it hasn't worked. Well, ask yourself, why did it not work, right? How can I
Mm-hmm.
change that? I think this takes more time and resources, and much more
Yeah.
work. So, but again,
Mm.
you're building a business to live out of it. If it's your decision, of course, huh? Or you can keep it as a side hustle. But in any ways, you got to learn to be, taking control of it. Like customizing it, learning, reflecting, all of that. And these are skills that are lost. And I find in myself, I mean, I've been doing, been taking courses, online, say 6 years, 6, 7 years. You got to manage everything by yourself, and it gets crazy and it get chaotic before you're having a certain,
Mm.
like organized system. And I'm having it, inshallah, right now.
Mm.
Something that works for me, but it took me many, many, many years, to get there. So this is a huge piece of like business management that people need to hear about and understand and apply, of course. Um, if we continue on that topic of like
Mm.
strategies, what is something,
Mm.
and sales, because as you said, your biggest value is to make sales easy. What is another struggle that you see, business owners do, and what is your solution, to that specific struggle?
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that is they're trying to serve everyone, right? So with the kind of content that they're creating, it's like they're speaking to everyone. Their content is not magnetic. Go back to everyone that you bought from. Did you buy from them solely because they were selling something, or was it because their content spoke to you? It spoke to you where you are in your life, and and that their content is like super specific based on, yeah, this is exactly what I want to be doing. So creating, like becoming, firstly, before creating hell yes offers, you got to be focusing on becoming that hell yes coach, right? And that happens by strategically positioning yourself in a manner wherein it's like, of course, I should go to her. Who else is the option? And this happens when you're truly standing out by decoding your unique selling point, right? And understanding, okay, fine, this is how I got to be doing it. So that's one thing that I noticed, that creating vague content, or content that okay, fine, you have established that this is a niche that needs that needs the solution that you're offering. So go a bit deeper. So what? Why am I the perfect person for this? Ask yourself, so what? Why am I the perfect person for this? Going deeper and deeper with these questions will help you narrow down into your unique expertise, right? And understanding, and I do understand, trying to do this on your own can get a bit overwhelming, but that is exactly why you need coaches, because they will know exactly how to navigate things around and show you exactly from what perspective you can look at things, because you cannot see your own blind spot. And this is why I feel like when we're giving away strategy, I feel like, you know what, someone's gonna apply this and be like, ah, she said that it didn't work, ah, she's crap. But then in reality, you have to make sure that the strategy is paired with the right kind of direction also. So I feel that's something, that's creating content that applies to everybody, right? And the next thing that I've noticed a lot is playing along the Cinderella syndrome. That, you know what, I'm going to be good. I'm going to create these cute graphics. I'm going to write these the motivational captions and have everything set out in my link tree. And I'm just going to announce the offer, and people should come and buy from me. Right? But they're not really understanding that sales doesn't mean that Like sales doesn't mean that, you have announced your offer, like you're throwing a bomb at them and they're like, okay, fine, we will come at you. We will come. That's not how it happens. Especially when it comes to in this coaching industry, they have to go through that buying process with you. And you got to do that along with, it could be like through a passive launch. It doesn't have to be that you're doing a full blown launch with a webinar, with a masterclass. It could probably be like a wait list, or you can passively be doing like booking calls and things like that, right? So even with launch, I feel like the strategy has to align with you. If you're like, I really like masterclasses, they seem to be working, probably it won't work for you. You have to understand what is it that will work for you, finding that alignment with your own strategy. Something else that I notice is there's this myth that sales essentially starts like at the end of your business journey. So I'm gonna do everything right. I'm going to uh, create the whole business, do all of these things, and the sales like the last part of everything. But I'll be very honest with you. Every client that I've worked with in this year, I've worked with over 40 women, and we have revamped their offers right from the demand creation. And I feel like that's what needs to be communicated. Because right when you're picking your niche and you're like, this is something I want to be doing, if from that point itself the sales starts with you validating that demand. And this is not by just you seeing, okay, fine, this it's working for her, let me just try this, or going deep in with your demand, with your offer, and understanding. That's when, like, when I revamp my clients offer, something which I talk about is, this itch. There is itch and there is cut, right? So if I have an itch, I probably just scratch it and let it live my life. I wouldn't even think about it. But if I have a cut, I'd probably go to someone. So how is it that your offer is? How is it being communicated? So that groundwork needs to be done. And like along with all of these things, again, there's this Cinderella syndrome that, I'm going to be good and clients will automatically come to me. I'm going to like create this one post once a week, and I'm going to go on stories and do a live here and there, and then people will come and buy from me. It will not work like that. You have to go deeper with that and build an aligned audience, or aligned community, I would say, wherein you're actively serving them, right? Because sales, for me, one of the biggest value is sales is service. Because when you're working with someone, because for me, my clients are like, I love my clients. And if there's something that's happening in their life and I feel like I can support them in that, I will make sure that I give them that extra support. Because for me, that is more important. And this is exactly why I feel like I have clients who have been with me for over 8 months. Like some of them have joined in Jan. With every program that I'm launching, they keep on renewing themselves. And with some of them, I'm with like 8 months now. So, that is what is important for me. Building and understand that sales is essentially a service. It's a service and an opportunity for someone to live their life, for someone to make sure that, all of this happens when you're creating aligned offers that you're meant to be creating, rather than seeing what's working for others. Let me just give it a try. Because you will not have client retention in that case, because people will probably take your program, not see results, and then they will go away somewhere else. But the one of the biggest thing that I would say, one of my biggest flex is that I have amazing client retention. Building that strong community has really served. And one advice that I would give to anyone who's just getting started is nurture that community. Build a community of women, build a community that your ideal clients, wherein they genuinely see you as a leader, and you inspire them with every piece of content that you put out there. So that's what I would say.
I love it. Just to recap for everybody, because she shared a lot. I love that you said, what is one thing? And then you just shared 3 things. So just to recap for everybody, like think about like being strategic in your business, and especially with sales. Don't sell to everybody. Okay. This is not the way that you're going to stand out, definitely. It's about doing the homework about your niche. And personally, this is what I found the most difficult, because I shifted niches at the beginning of the year. So before this year, I was coaching everybody, and most of my coaches were males, entrepreneurs in their 40s, average age, completely different. And like figure, I don't know. And then I moved to Muslim women. And I'm like, okay, this is a whole brand new niche, and it's also a new niche for coaching. So it's not there in a one place, because everybody tells you like, find the one place where you find Muslim women. I was like, okay, but like they're everywhere, like they're not in a specific place. So it was so hard, and doing this homework of like knowing them, and like what type of problem do I really resolve, like best. So huge, do your homework about your niche. Number two, you said the Cinderella syndrome. This is the first time that I hear about that, but definitely like think about yourself.
I'm going to trademark this actually. Like, every time I talk about this concept, this is actually, there is something which is called Cinderella syndrome, but I don't know anyone who speaks of this from the sales perspective. And I'm like, this is going to be my USP. I'm going to talk about this everywhere.
Of course, the hell yes coach and hell yes clients. No, do it. Do not hesitate. Take action, Ayesha. So yeah, I mean, this is huge. Like, think about yourself as a store, as a physical store. You're just opening the first day, like, and people like, you're not having a line, like outside. It's like, you're just coming out. People don't know you, don't trust you. Why should I do business with you? So it's going to take time. It's not going to be one post. So take time to nurture, as you said, your niche, your community, engage with them, learn about them, and I speak their own language. I think this is a huge lesson that I'm learning right now. Like, how can I talk to them in their own language? And then think about sales, not at the end of your business plan, but think of it as the beginning, like at the beginning. And I think they definitely should engage with your own content to understand that concept about having sales in mind first. So I mean, these are huge like pieces, and sales as a service, 100%. It's not like you are forcing your way, and forcing your product down the throat of this poor Muslim women. Like, this is it, like,
exactly. Buy from me, or I will
buy from me.
Like, my life will be over. Yeah, exactly. I really find that thing so funny. I'm like, it doesn't have to be pushy. Like, I do not believe in that. And something else which you said was like, which I really like related to with was, how we just negate it as, I'm gonna make sales. Like, you, before even opening the shop, you're like, you do everything. You do the interior decor, you put up the lights, and you and I see them doing all of that. You do everything except for learning sales skills. Right. And I created this post, and the other day, like, everyone was like, yeah, exactly, I relate with that. And then I had this conversation with someone else who signed up. I was like, why do you sign up with me? She's like, I read that post of yours, and it haunted me. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to be doing.
Yes. Like, your content is doing the pre-work. The content is creating the relationship for you. This is the power of like really like copywriting and creating content that is very specific to someone else's problem. And this is how they're going to be like, oh, why did I stop on that post? I could have, kept scrolling, but I stopped. Like, something made me stop. And this is when you get the nugget, the door, the key, that they put the key in the door before they open it, so amazing. 100%. We see it. And I personally also, I see it. I mean, I have people reaching out because definitely my content is much more specific to a certain issue. And I'm speaking to a certain person. I'm working on it, make it clear and clear. And again, it's a process. Listen, it's not going to be one course. It's not going to be one coach that will give you the whole formula. No, you gotta like keep learning and honing your skills. And especially if you're starting, you're gonna suck at it. Get over it.
Yeah, exactly. We get so hung up on that one thing, that I want this coach to give me everything. When in reality, it's difficult for one person to be an expert in everything.
Yeah. And right? You can't handle it.
What your business needs. Exactly. Yes. And it will get too overwhelming for you. And I feel like something which I'm doing in this current program, I was recording the module yesterday with one or two of my clients. Like, I was giving that one-on-one with them. And what she said, like, she was like, actually, you know what? I always hear people say that, oh my God, love yourself, be yourself in your business, speak your authentic truth, and just go ahead and do that. And she said that I never knew how to do that. Like, I was like, it's so fluff. How do you be yourself? Like, what should I do when you're telling that? like how we narrow that down, we break that whole thing down on how to be yourself with your
Yep.
stuff, and how do you really stand out just by being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
like something which you said about like creating magnetic content, I can't even tell you, that makes such a huge difference. When, okay, fine, so you said that you're coaching Muslim women,
Mm.
right? And that's still a very broad niche. You can
Super
still step
broad.
down and be like,
Yeah.
okay, are, are they like product-based business women? Are they working women? Are they like stay-at-home moms?
Mm-hmm.
If they're like product-based business women, are they currently in a launch as the service-based business woman? And who is it that who is this program will be transformation? How will their life look like? This is something which we call in psychology as paint them a picture, wherein you're really giving them a visual imagery of what their life will look like. Because
Mm-hmm.
you as a life coach, as a coach, will really know what you can do for her, right? But for her to internalize the fact that that transformation is possible for me, she's going to be like, it might work for her, it might work for her, it won't work for me, it might work for
Yes.
everybody, it won't work for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when your content is like really speaking to her and like showing that painting that picture for her, it becomes easy for her to be like, yes, I see that happening for me, I see how your methodology can work for me. And that's how you get those hell yeses,
Yeah.
right? So it
Mm.
took a lot of time for me.
It
i
takes a
i
lot of
probably
time,
had like
guys. Yes. It's not gonna
I
be
had like
90 days. It's not gonna be 90 days.
Oh, no, 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 no. Forget about that program promise. But then if you're teaching concepts, like if you're not teaching your what works for me, this is how it will work for you. If
Of
that's
course.
the type of thing, I don't know if it will work for you. But
Mm.
then if you are learning
Yes.
concepts like sales psychology concepts or sales confidence concepts, or like concept wise based on research, based on things that have been tried and tested, that
Mm.
you might apply now and see the results from it like eight months from now, 1 year from now, because those things are reusable.
Yep.
You can keep coming back to these things. And I have some of my clients who I was with 1 year ago. We worked on some sales confidence, like how to sell on stories and all of those things. And I see them crushing it with their master classes. They're signing
Mm.
like high ticket clients left and right. And I'm like, and then they tell me, you know what, Aisha, back then I was so afraid of like judgment and like this and that. And I didn't know how to sell without feeling sleazy. And after working with you and see, this is the transformation, right?
Mm.
And so all of these things will happen. And I myself were able to learn and get to this point. It took me like 28 no's. Like I had 28 women tell me no, 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 until I perfected my system. And I was like, I am not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So it took me 28 no's to get to a hell yes. And I understood and broke down why did I get all of those no's and why was this a hell yes?
Yeah.
Because of all the shifts I've made in my content, in myself, in my energy, in my strategy, and everything around that. So stay in the game for the longest and you will get there.
What a beautiful way to finish up this conversation. Just listen to that. Stay in it for the long game. Just do the homework. Just do the homework. Like, don't, because
Mm,
we've been used to the instant gratification, culture right now that is really
mm,
hurtful, with all these courses, all these these promises, and like 90 days after, you're like, why am I not fluent in Chinese? And this course promised me that I would be fluent in
oh,
Chinese. I'm like,
please.
no. But yeah, I love what you said, exactly that. Be in it in the
Mhm.
long term and don't be afraid to do the homework. And this is how you're going to differentiate yourself from the people that just come in and say, oops, I gotta
Mhm.
know it's not for me, and good,
Mm.
because it's going to be less competition. I mean, like less crowded. So on a business side is good for us also. So 100%. Aisha, coming at the end of this conversation is not going to be, of course, the last episode with you here. But let us know what you're working on. What do you want people, to know about what you are
Mhm.
doing right now, and where can they reach you?
Okay. Awesome. So let me start with where can they reach me? So you can find me on Instagram at aishakhan.co. And I share a lot of like sales strategies, soulful sales methods, and like sales psychology secrets and things like that. And like I have these caption templates which have been tried and used by so many of my clients. These caption templates, whether I have that have helped me generate I think just through that, I think over 10K in revenue. And I'm like really obsessed with the way I do it, specifically because they are invoking emotions, right? So it's difficult for me to like narrow down each of those concepts and be like, but this is the way I found it. Like all of the things that I've learned through sales psychology stuff, I've compiled them into these templates that are ready to use. These are some questions or prompts that you can write your captions in a manner that moves people through those buying cycle to be making that decision. So when you create content in that manner, that firstly builds your credibility, that moves people through the buying cycle. And so your captions are not like blogs. This is something that I notice a lot. So these are like inspirational blogs that people are writing. It's not exuding authority, it's not selling for you, it's not making people go like, oh my god, I need this. So I've been able to like consolidate them into form of templates that people can use, like so that they're able to sell right away. And like I'm someone who likes to give a ton of value, because I believe that if I hold back all the information, how will I empower women to finally be ready? And I had someone who told me, you know what, Aisha, I used your caption templates and I see my business game like getting stronger and stronger, and that made me realize that I want to be investing in higher programs of yours. And I was like, exactly that. Because if your entry level point is like strong enough, and that's helping them to be making money, they will keep coming back. They will keep coming back for more, right? So that's what I have. You can like they're in the link in my bio as well, and you can just check them out on my Instagram page.
Yeah, we'll share all
Amazing.
the links, and I love the caption, and they make a difference. I use a caption like template for my captions, and I just started this month actually with that from my coach, and she also uses this system of when you get into it, and of course you have to customize it to your own, like expertise. By the way, it's not like, hey, I'm having this template, copy and paste, woohoo, results. No, it doesn't work like that. We wish, but it's not. You still have to do the customization. But it's a huge game changer, because yes, there is a way to write that brings people in a story, and that's what makes differentiate people that are storytellers from the others, or or good salesperson or good marketers from the others. So yeah, just getting that for free, 100, this is a huge win. So we gonna share all the links 100% for that, and thank you for doing that, sharing that for free. It's crazy. And when we say bringing value to people, it's like, what type of difference did you make in their life from the connection, from the conversation? Like, did you change something? Like, did you add something to their life? Because we say that, yeah, just do some value added sales, or value added content. We always say that word, but I think like we don't define it that much for people, because they're like, okay, what does it mean? Just mean like, did you make their life better? Like from that conversation, from that, post, like maybe it was an aha moment. Maybe it was like they were thinking about it, and you put it in words that really resonated with them, and they understood the concept, which happens to me all the time, by the way. Where I read, I'm like, it means that. Okay. But yeah, so I'm super excited. We went a lot through this conversation. We're going to come back for episode 2, of course, Ayesha, and we have so many things in store for you. So keep tuned for that for sure. All the luck for your products. And again, if you're struggling with sales, if it's awkward, if you're a woman, you definitely, it is awkward because it's not natural for us to go through that. Just go and check Ayesha.
Exactly.
Because especially if you want to do it in an ethical way, it's like non-sleazy, not pushy. It's like, what do I have to say? Like, what are the power words? No. You can do it in a way that is aligned with your own values. And I feel like, through your content, you definitely share that. So I would definitely, push people to go and see your work.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for all of that lovely words and everything that you said. I love this conversation, and I really believe in this. Like, this is what is important. We need to keep on having these powerful conversations with each other and show that women are not about like, this or that, or, she did this, she did that. It's about empowering each other and lifting each other up, because the stronger we stand together, the stronger we will be.
Yeah. Powerful. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here, Ayesha.
Thank you so much for inviting me.